the dress he couldn't ignore. The espresso machine hissed softly in the corner of the glass office, steam curling into the air like a warning no one else could hear.
We knew the risks.
Elena Rossi stood at the marble counter preparing the third coffee of the morning with steady hands she had trained not to shake. 6 months. 6 months working for the most feared man in New York. 6 months pretending her heart didn't react every time he walked into the room. Without turning, she spoke calmly. Your meeting files are on your desk. I removed the poor contract clause. It was unnecessary. Silence answered her. Heavy silence. Predator silence. She didn't need to look to know he had entered.
Let's go.
The air always changed when Adrian Volkov stepped into a room. People called him a mafia boss.
Starting to worry.
Whispers called him something else. Something older. Something darker. Something not human.
I can't believe we're finally
Behind her, fabric shifted as he settled into his chair. You are unusually bold today, Elena. His voice was deep, smooth, dangerously calm. Elena turned, placing the espresso on his desk. It's 3 p.m., sir. I'm efficient in the afternoons. Adrian leaned back in his chair, storm gray eyes studying her like a puzzle he had not solved yet. Everything about him looked carved from control. Perfect black suit, sharp jawline, dark hair brushed back, eyes that saw everything. Those eyes dropped slowly to her outfit and froze. For the first time in 6 months, the great Adrian Volkov looked caught off guard. Elena felt heat crawl up her neck. She had worn a dress, a simple one, soft blue, modest, elegant, but it wasn't her usual office wear.
What did you do?
And he noticed immediately.
It was an accident.
Of course he did.
This is the last time.
He noticed everything.
We'll fix it.
His voice dropped lower. Where are you going in that dress? The question came out rougher than intended, almost a growl. Elena blinked. Excuse me? He leaned forward slowly, fingers steepled. You never wear dresses to work. Her pulse jumped. It's called having a life outside the office. Silence fell again. Long, thick, dangerous. What kind of life? He asked quietly. Personal plans. The temperature in the room dropped several degrees.
Especially with you here.
Plans? He repeated slowly as if testing a foreign word. Yes.
Is that for me?
With who?
Yes, and the projections are ready.
That is not part of my job description. His jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. Everything about you is my concern. You work for me. I work for you from 9 to 6. She crossed her arms before realizing it was a mistake. His gaze flicked to the movement and back to her face. What I do after work is none of your business. He stood, slowly, gracefully, like a predator closing distance. He stopped inches away. You're wearing perfume. Her breath caught. You never wear perfume to work. The fact that he knew that sent a strange flutter through her stomach. Maybe I felt like it today. His eyes darkened. And your hair. Her hand rose instinctively to the loose waves falling past her shoulders. You always wear it tied back. She swallowed. I have a date. The words echoed between them like a gunshot. The office suddenly felt too small. Too quiet. Too charged. A date, he repeated softly. Yes. With who? A man. His eyes flashed dangerously. I assumed that. She grabbed her purse. I need to go home to change. His voice stopped her at the door. What exactly will you be changing into? She turned slowly, irritation bubbling. Something that makes me feel pretty. His jaw flexed. Be careful. Why? You don't know what kind of men are out there. The concern in his voice startled her. I'm not a child. No, he murmured quietly. You are not. And something in the way he said it made her heart stumble.
This is
she
getting
left
too
before
risky.
she could overthink it.
We knew the risks.
The elevator ride down felt like escaping a storm.
I'm sure.
Lucia at reception smirked knowingly. Trouble in paradise? There is no paradise, Elena muttered. Just a man who thinks he owns the air I breathe. But even as she said it, her pulse refused to calm. Her apartment was small, warm, safe, ordinary. Nothing like Adrian Volkov's world. She showered quickly, trying to wash away the tension clinging to her skin. Then she saw the dress hanging on her closet door. Red silk. Bold. Elegant. Dangerous. She had bought it impulsively last week. Tonight was the first time she would wear it. As she slipped into it and looked in the mirror, she barely recognized herself. Confident. Beautiful. Different. Like she belonged in Adrian's world. The thought made her chest tighten. Her phone buzzed. Her date. Normal life. Normal man. Safe future. She grabbed her purse and left. The restaurant glowed with golden lights and soft music. Everything about the evening felt normal. Safe. Comfortable. And yet, she couldn't stop checking the door. Couldn't stop noticing every dark-haired man who entered. Couldn't stop feeling like she was doing something wrong. Sorry I'm late, her date said, smiling warmly. Tyler was handsome, polite, perfectly normal. Everything Adrian Volkov was not. The date started well. Conversation flowed. Wine poured. Smiles exchanged. Until Tyler leaned forward. So, what exactly does your boss do? Her stomach tightened. International trade. I heard he's powerful. Alarm bells rang softly. Who told you that? He smiled too quickly. Just business circles. His hand covered hers. You must know a lot working that close to him. The alarm bells turned into sirens. Why are you asking? His smile slipped slightly. We could help each other. Her blood ran cold. You set this up. Think of it as networking. You want me to spy on him. We want to protect you. She stood abruptly. This was a mistake. Outside, the cold air hit her like reality. Her hands trembled as she pulled out her phone. There was only one number she trusted.
Get out.
He answered on the first ring.
Please,
Elena.
not again.
His voice sounded different. Rougher. Darker. Where are you? 54th Street. Pause. I'm coming. 5 minutes later, a black car stopped in front of her. The window rolled down. Adrian Volkov sat behind the wheel. Eyes blazing. Get in. She obeyed. Silence filled the car. What happened? He asked quietly. He knew who you were. He tried to recruit me. The steering wheel creaked under his grip. Tyler Monroe, he muttered. You knew. I have been watching him watch you. Her anger flared. You followed me? I protected you. You don't own me. His control snapped. You walked into a restaurant wearing that dress, attracting every predator in the city. Silence fell. Her voice trembled. Looking like what? He exhaled sharply. Like you were trying to drive every man insane. Her heart skipped. Are you insane? He didn't answer. Instead he drove. North. Away from her home. Where are we going? You are staying with me tonight. What? You are not safe anymore. She should refuse. She should argue. But fear whispered louder. Just tonight. His penthouse was breathtaking. Luxury. Power. Darkness. She stood in the doorway feeling like she had crossed into another world. The guest room is down the hall, he said quietly. He turned to leave. Adrian, wait. He stopped. Why were you so angry about my date? He didn't turn around. I wasn't angry. You were furious. Slowly he turned. Eyes darker than night. You want the truth? Her breath caught. I hated the idea of another man looking at you. Her heart stopped. And for the first time, she realized her life had just changed forever. The monster in his penthouse. The words hung in the air like smoke. I hated the idea of another man looking at you. Elena stood frozen in the soft gold light of Adrian Volkov's penthouse. Her red dress suddenly feeling too loud, too revealing, too dangerous for the silence that followed. The city skyline behind the glass walls glittered like 1,000 indifferent eyes. Adrian's expression was already hardening, control sliding back into place like a mask, yet something had cracked beneath it. Something raw had shown for one breath and Elena had seen it. She swallowed, forcing her voice to work. That isn't your right. He didn't deny it. He didn't argue. He simply looked at her with those storm-gray eyes, and for a moment she felt as if he wasn't seeing her dress at all. He was seeing her pulse, her fear, her stubbornness, the parts of her she tried so hard to hide. You asked for the truth, he said at last, voice low. You got it. Elena's chest tightened. I didn't ask you to follow me. I didn't follow you, he corrected. I watched the threat. That's the same thing. It's not, he murmured. You're alive because it's not. The reminder of Tyler's cold, calculated questions made Elena's skin prickle. She turned her gaze away, forcing herself to breathe normally. Adrian stepped back, giving her space like a man fighting instincts that wanted the opposite. You should sleep, he said. And you should stop acting like I belong to you. His jaw flexed. You don't belong to me. He said it too quickly. Like a lie he wanted to believe. He gestured toward the hall. Guest room. Second door. Elena clutched her purse tighter. And what if I want to leave? Adrian's gaze sharpened. If you walk out of this building right now, you will be followed. By Tyler? By people who use men like Tyler. She tried to hold his stare, but her courage wavered at the seriousness in his voice. So what now? She asked softly.
To us.
Adrian
To
exhaled,
us.
controlled and quiet. Now
I'm
you
so
stay
glad
somewhere
we're
I can
here.
keep you safe. Tomorrow we plan. She should have argued. She should have demanded her independence like she always did. But her hands were shaking. And she hated that he noticed. Because he always did. Elena turned and walked down the hall, heels silent on the thick carpet. The guest room was immaculate, untouched, like no one was meant to stay there. Like Adrian never expected to host anyone who wasn't business or blood. She set her purse down and stared at herself in the mirror. The red dress looked like power. But it felt like a target. She pulled the pins from her hair, letting the curls fall, and tried not to think about the way Adrian had looked at her when he said he hated the idea of another man seeing her. Hate wasn't the right word. It had sounded like hunger, possession, fear. Her phone buzzed again. Tyler. 3 missed messages. 1 new text lit up her screen. Tyler, you made the wrong choice. Volkov will ruin you. Elena's stomach flipped. She typed with trembling thumbs. Don't contact me again. The reply came instantly. Tyler, you think you're safe with him? You're not. You're just useful. Elena's breath caught. Useful. Like a tool. Like a pawn. Like the way the world had always treated girls like her. Girls who grew up cleaning houses, serving tables, taking insults like they were normal. Her eyes blurred with angry tears. She threw the phone onto the bed and pressed her palms to her face. She refused to cry. Not here. Not in his home. A soft knock came at the door. Elena stiffened. Come in, she called cautiously. The door opened. Adrian stood there, no jacket now, sleeves rolled to his forearms, his tie loosened. He carried a folded bundle, soft fabric, and a glass of water. I had them bring you clothes, he said. Elena stared at the bundle. When? I made 1 call.
Oh,
of course
my God,
he did.
I can't believe it.
He walked in only far
This is
enough to set the
unbelievable.
clothes on the armchair. A simple oversized shirt, sweatpants, and a thick robe. No luxury. No inappropriate intimacy. Just care. It disarmed her more than any dominance ever could. Thank you, she said quietly, surprising herself. Adrian's gaze lingered on her face. You're shaking. I'm fine. You're lying. She hated how easily he saw through her. She looked away. Tyler texted me. Adrian's body went still. What did he say? Elena hesitated. Then she held out her phone. Adrian didn't take it. He read from where he stood. When he finished, something in the room shifted. A pressure. A heaviness. Like a storm forming under glass. Adrian's eyes changed. They were still gray, but the calm surface seemed to darken, like depth opening underneath. Elena's throat tightened. What are you going to do? She whispered. Adrian's voice was dangerously even. I'm going to end this. End it how? He looked at her like she had asked a naive question. In that moment, Elena remembered the whispers she'd heard the first months at the company, the way men went missing after betraying Adrian Volkov, the way rivals stopped breathing too soon, the way no one ever touched what belonged to him. Her heart pounded. You can't just, she started. Adrian moved closer, slow and controlled. And then he stopped. Because even angry, even dangerous, he still measured himself around her. You don't want blood on your conscience, he said quietly. I understand. Elena stared. Blood. He said it so naturally. Like it was a normal option. Her voice shook. Is that what you are? A monster? Adrian's eyes held hers.
Ready for this?
For
Always,
one long
let's
beat.
go.
He didn't deny.
Wow, this is
Then he
amazing.
turned and
Just
walked
wait.
to the bar area, poured himself something dark, and took one sip like he needed it to stay human. When he spoke again, his voice was low. You should change. Sleep. Lock the door. In the morning, you'll listen to what I tell you. Elena's spine straightened. I'm not your soldier. No, he said without looking at her. You're not. There was something almost regretful in it. Elena watched him for another second, then went to the bathroom and changed. The oversized shirt smelled faintly like him, cedar and something colder. It shouldn't have comforted her. But it did. She climbed into bed, pulling the blanket up to her chin and stared at the ceiling. Her thoughts wouldn't stop. Tyler's trap. Adrian's fury. That confession. The city lights outside looked like 1,000 tiny secrets. At some point, exhaustion dragged her under. She woke up to silence. Not normal silence. Penthouse silence. The kind that felt engineered. Elena sat up and instantly noticed something strange. The door was still locked. But there was a new sound in the hallway. Footsteps. Multiple. She slipped out of bed and cracked the door open. 2 men in black stood outside. Not moving. Not speaking. Like statues. Security. Adrian wasn't just protecting her. He was guarding her. The realization made her stomach twist. She stepped out cautiously. Where is he? She asked one of them. The man didn't answer. He only nodded toward the living room. Elena walked forward and found Adrian standing by the window, the city spread beneath him like a kingdom. He was on a phone call, voice low, Italian accent stronger than usual. She couldn't hear everything, but she caught fragments. Monroe Syndicate. He dared approach her. I want names. Elena's blood went cold. He was talking about her like she was a line in a war contract. Adrian ended the call and turned. His gaze swept over her, shirt, bare legs, messy hair, and something flashed in his eyes.
I'm glad you're here.
Not lust.
Me too.
Something more complicated. Possession and pain. He spoke first. Good. You're awake. Elena folded her arms. Are there guards outside my door because you think I'm going to run? Adrian didn't flinch. They're there because someone may try to take you. Take me? She repeated sharply. I'm not a hostage. He came closer, stopping at a respectful distance. You are a leverage point, he said bluntly. They'll use you because they can't reach me directly. Elena's throat tightened. So Tyler wasn't just a creep with a plan. No, Adrian said softly. He's bait. Elena stared. Bait for what? Adrian's jaw tightened. For a war. The word landed heavy in the air. Elena felt her knees weaken slightly. I didn't ask to be part of your world. Adrian's voice dropped. And I didn't ask to want you in it. The confession was quieter than the first one. But it hit harder. Elena's heart slammed in her chest. She forced herself to breathe. You want me? She demanded, trying to sound angry and not shaken. Or you want to control me? Adrian's eyes darkened. He moved closer, just one step. Control is easy, he murmured. Want is not. Elena's breath caught. The room felt suddenly smaller again. Her voice came out softer. Then why do you look like you're fighting yourself? Adrian stared at her like she had pierced armor. For the first time his control slipped again. His lips parted. His gaze dropped to her throat. And Elena noticed something she hadn't noticed before. A faint mark near his collarbone. Not a bruise. Not a scratch. Something like an old burn. A symbol. She stepped closer without thinking. What is that?
I can't believe we're finally
Adrian's
here.
body
I know,
tensed
it's been a long
instantly.
road.
Don't
worth
touch
every
me,
step.
he
Every
said, not
single
harsh but urgent. Elena froze. You're afraid, she whispered. Adrian's jaw clenched. I'm not afraid. You are, she insisted. Because you're not just a mafia boss, are you? The room seemed to dim slightly. Like the light itself listened. Adrian's gaze locked on hers. And his voice became very, very quiet. No. Elena's pulse roared in her ears. What are you? She whispered. Adrian didn't answer immediately. Instead, he walked to the kitchen counter and picked up a small silver object. A ring. Not a normal ring. It had a dark red stone set into it, and the metal looked ancient, etched with symbols that didn't belong in modern New York. He held it between his fingers like it weighed more than gold. I was born long before this city existed, he said softly. Elena's breath caught. Her mind screamed that this was impossible. But her instincts, those deep survival instincts, went silent. Because something in her knew he was telling the truth. Adrian's eyes changed again. Not color, depth. A darkness moving behind them like a living shadow. He continued. Men like Tyler's family, they don't just deal in shipping and money. He lifted the ring slightly. They serve older things. Elena's mouth went dry. Like what? Adrian's gaze hardened. Like hunters. Elena's heart dropped. Hunting who? Adrian looked at her. And for the first time, the fear she heard in his voice was not for himself. It was for her. They were hunting me, he said quietly. And now? His eyes flicked to her lips, then back up. They know you matter to me. Elena stumbled back half a step. I don't matter to you. Adrian's voice turned rough. Don't insult me with a lie. Silence crashed between them. Elena's pulse hammered. Her voice trembled. Why would I matter to you? Adrian stared at her like the answer was dangerous. Then he spoke, slow and deliberate. Because you are the first human in a century who looked at me, and didn't see a monster. Elena's throat tightened. Adrian? He stepped closer, not touching her. His voice lowered. And because you smell like something I haven't been allowed to want. Elena's breath hitched. What do I smell like? Adrian's jaw flexed. Like sunlight. The words made her chest ache in a way she couldn't explain. Then suddenly, a sharp vibration. Adrian's phone buzzed. His gaze snapped away and the moment shattered. He checked the screen. His face went cold. Elena saw it instantly. What? She asked. Adrian's voice dropped into pure danger. They're moving. Who? The Monroe Syndicate. He turned his phone slightly. On the screen was a photo. A grainy image from a security camera. Elena leaving the restaurant the night before. And behind her, blurred near the corner, a man watching. Not Tyler. Someone else. Adrian's jaw tightened hard. They didn't send Tyler to recruit you, he said quietly. They sent him to distract you. Elena's blood went ice. So, what was the real plan? Adrian looked at her. His eyes were darker now, almost black in the morning light. To mark you. Elena swallowed. Mark me, how? Adrian's voice was deadly calm. They want to use you as bait. He reached into his pocket and pulled out something small. A thin black velvet pouch. He opened it. Inside was a necklace. Silver chain. A deep red stone. The same shade as the ring. Elena stared. What is that? Adrian stepped closer. A protection charm. Elena's eyes widened. That's supernatural. Yes. She backed away instinctively. No. Adrian's voice sharpened. Elena, listen to me. I don't want your charm. I don't want your world. I want my life. Adrian's expression softened, just slightly. Your life is already in this world. You just didn't know it. Elena's voice shook. You're lying. Adrian's gaze locked on hers. I never lied to you. He lifted the necklace. Let me put it on you. Elena's throat tightened. Why? Adrian's voice turned almost gentle. Because if they come for you, I won't be able to hold back. Elena stared at him. A dangerous truth in those words. Not just mafia violence. Something older. Something hungry. Something vampire. She swallowed hard. And if I say no? Adrian's gaze flicked to her throat again, then away like he was forcing himself. Then I'll still protect you, he said quietly. But you will make it harder. Elena's fingers curled into fists. She hated feeling powerless. She hated that her whole life people had treated her like she was small, weak, disposable. And yet Adrian wasn't treating her like disposable. He was treating her like she was priceless. That was more terrifying than any insult. Finally, Elena lifted her chin. Fine, she whispered. One charm. Adrian's gaze softened. He stepped behind her slowly. Elena's body went rigid as he lifted her hair away from her neck. His fingers brushed the nape of her skin, just barely. An electricity shot through her veins. He paused like he felt it too. His breath was warm near her ear. You're trembling, he murmured. Because you're too close, she whispered back. Adrian's voice turned rough. I'm not touching you. But you're, her voice faltered. You're everywhere. He fastened the clasp. The necklace settled against her collarbone. Instantly, Elena felt a strange warmth spread through her chest. Like a steady heartbeat that wasn't hers. She inhaled sharply. What did you do? Adrian stepped in front of her again, eyes searching her face. I anchored you, he said quietly. Anchored me to what? Adrian's jaw tightened. To me. Elena's stomach flipped. That's not protection, she snapped. That's possession. Adrian's eyes flashed. You think I want to own you? He leaned closer. I want you to live. The intensity in his voice stole Elena's breath. Before she could answer, a loud ding echoed. The private elevator. Adrian's head snapped toward it. His entire posture changed. Predator mode. He moved in front of Elena like a shield. The elevator doors slid open. A tall man stepped out in black. Not one of Adrian's guards. This man carried old power in his eyes. He bowed slightly. Boss, he said. Adrian's voice was ice. Speak. The man's gaze flicked briefly to Elena's necklace and his face tightened. They found the mark, he said quietly. Elena's skin went cold. What mark? She whispered. Adrian's eyes turned deadly. The man continued. On her. Elena's breath caught. Adrian's jaw clenched so hard it looked painful. Where? He growled. The man hesitated. Her wrist. Elena looked down. And there it was. A faint symbol on the inside of her wrist, barely visible like a shadow under the skin. A mark she hadn't noticed until now. A mark that hadn't been there yesterday. Elena's voice shook. I didn't do that. Adrian's eyes darkened. I know. He grabbed her wrist gently but firmly, turning it toward the light. The symbol became clearer. A twisted rune.
Come here.
Ancient.
I had
Wrong.
to see you.
Adrian's
This was
voice
a
turned
mistake.
terrifyingly
Please.
calm. They touched you. Elena's chest tightened with panic. When? Adrian's gaze lifted to hers. And in that moment she realized something awful. It wasn't Tyler who had been the danger. It was the unseen man watching from the corner. The one she never noticed. Elena's voice trembled. What does it mean? Adrian's lips pressed into a hard line. It means, he said softly, almost like he didn't want to say it aloud. They have permission to take you. Elena's knees nearly gave out. Adrian's grip tightened, protective. His voice dropped into a vow. But they will have to go through me. And for the first time, Elena believed him. Not because he was a mafia boss. Because in his eyes, she saw something ancient waking up. A king. A vampire king. And the city outside suddenly looked less like New York. And more like a battlefield. The night the hunters came. Elena couldn't stop staring at the mark on her wrist. It looked faint at first, like a bruise that hadn't decided to exist yet. But the longer she looked, the darker it became. Thin lines twisted into a symbol that felt wrong in a way she couldn't explain. Ancient. Hungry. Claiming. They have permission to take you. Adrian's words echoed inside her chest like a drum. Permission. As if she were an object. As if someone had stamped her name onto a list. Her voice shook. I don't understand. Who are they? Adrian didn't answer immediately. His thumb brushed lightly over the mark, not touching skin, hovering like contact might hurt her. His voice came out rough. The Order of Ash. The name felt cold in the room. Hunters, the man in black added quietly. Old ones. Elena swallowed hard. You're telling me there are professional vampire hunters in New York? Adrian's gaze lifted to hers. You thought the monsters stopped at mafia families? The city skyline glittered outside the windows. Ordinary. Normal. Alive. But suddenly Elena felt like she had stepped behind the curtain of reality. Why me? She whispered. Adrian didn't answer. And that terrified her more than anything. The silence stretched until Elena couldn't bear it. Adrian, why would they mark me? His jaw tightened. They don't waste marks on random people. Her stomach dropped. So I'm not random. No. The word landed like a stone. Her pulse roared in her ears. What does that mean? Adrian exhaled slowly as if the truth tasted dangerous. It means you're important. I'm a secretary. You're lying to yourself. She stared at him, heart hammering. I grew up cleaning houses with my mother. I've worked since I was 16. I am the definition of ordinary. Adrian stepped closer. Say that again. I'm ordinary. His voice lowered. You walked into a room full of killers 6 months ago and told me to rewrite a contract because I was wrong. She blinked. You argued with me your first week. You're stubborn, not supernatural. You don't fear power. She swallowed. That doesn't make me special. Adrian's eyes softened slightly. It makes you rare. Elena's heart squeezed painfully. Before she could answer, the lights flickered. Once. Twice. The guards near the door straightened instantly. Adrian's entire posture changed. Predator stillness. What was that? Elena whispered. The man in black spoke quietly. Perimeter breach. Adrian didn't look surprised. He looked inevitable. They're early, he said. Elena's chest tightened. They? Adrian turned toward her, voice calm but urgent. Listen to me carefully. Her pulse spiked. You stay behind me. You do not run. You do not open doors. You do not talk to strangers. Adrian? His voice sharpened. Elena. She went silent. Something in his tone left no room for argument. The lights flickered again. Then died. Darkness swallowed the penthouse. The city lights outside became the only glow. Elena's breath hitched. And then she heard it. The sound of glass cracking somewhere below. A distant alarm. Footsteps in the stairwell. Her heart slammed painfully against her ribs. They're here. Adrian's voice sounded different now. Lower. Colder. Older. The man in black handed him a sleek black dagger. Silver etched the blade in intricate symbols. Elena stared. That's not normal security equipment. No, Adrian said quietly. It isn't. Another crash echoed through the building. Closer this time. The guards moved into position, silent and trained. Elena felt the air shift, pressure building like a thunderstorm. Stay behind me, Adrian repeated. She nodded, unable to speak. The private elevator dinged. What? Slow.
Stay close to
patient.
Who are
Predatory.
Trouble.
Adrian
Don't move.
stepped in front of Elena, completely blocking her from view. The elevator doors slid open. 3 figures stepped out. Black coats. Pale faces. Eyes glowing faintly amber. They didn't look human. But they didn't look vampire either. Something in between. The tallest one smiled. Well, the rumors were true. His gaze slid past Adrian and locked onto Elena. There she is. Adrian's voice dropped to a lethal whisper. You walked into the wrong building. The hunter laughed softly. No, Volkov. We walked into the right century. Elena's hands shook behind Adrian's back. Who are they? She whispered. People who kill my kind, Adrian answered. The hunter spread out slowly, confident. We don't want a war tonight, the leader said smoothly. We just want the girl. Adrian didn't move. You're not taking her. The hunter tilted his head. You sound emotional. Adrian's voice was ice. You sound suicidal. The hunter smirked. You've ruled this city long enough, vampire. The old treaties are dead. Elena's breath caught. Vampire. Hearing it out loud made the truth real. The hunter's eyes flicked to her necklace. And you already anchored her. How romantic. Adrian's grip tightened on the dagger. You're trespassing. The hunter sighed dramatically. You vampires always get so territorial when you imprint. Elena blinked. Imprint? Adrian went completely still. Deadly still. Careful, he said quietly. You're saying words you don't understand. The hunter smiled wider. Oh, I understand perfectly. A century-old predator finally finds his sunlight, and suddenly he grows a conscience. Elena's heart stopped. Sunlight. She looked at Adrian. What does he mean? Adrian didn't answer. The hunter did. It means your blood is rare, sweetheart. Elena's stomach twisted. What? The hunter's voice turned almost amused. You don't know, do you? Of course he didn't tell you. Adrian moved faster than Elena could see. 1 second he stood in front of her. The next he was across the room, dagger at the hunter's throat. The guards didn't even react. They were too used to his speed. Say another word about her, Adrian whispered. And I end you. The hunter didn't flinch. He smiled. There it is. The monster. Elena's breath shook. Adrian's eyes weren't gray anymore. They were black. Completely black. The hunter chuckled softly. You think killing us stops this? The order marked her. She's on the map now. Adrian's voice was deadly calm. Then I'll burn the map. The hunter's smile vanished. You can't fight the order forever. Adrian leaned closer. I don't have to. I just have to outlive you. Then he moved. What happened next didn't feel real. The room blurred. The lights shattered. The air exploded with movement too fast for Elena to follow. Metal clanged. Glass broke. Bodies hit walls. The hunters were fast.
What did you do?
Adrian was
It was an
faster.
accident.
She
This
saw
is
him
the
catch a
last
blade
time.
midair with
We'll
bare
fix it.
hands. Saw him move faster than human eyes should track. Saw him throw a man across the room like he weighed nothing. Elena's knees weakened. He wasn't just a vampire. He was something ancient. Something powerful. Something terrifying. One hunter lunged toward her. Elena. Adrian roared. Time slowed. The hunter's hand reached for her wrist. Her marked wrist. Elena's fear snapped into anger. All her life people had tried to control her. Use her. Dismiss her. Not again. She grabbed the nearest object, a heavy glass sculpture, and smashed it into the hunter's face. The room froze. Even Adrian stared. The hunter stumbled back, stunned. Elena's voice shook but held firm. I am not bait. Adrian's eyes flashed with something fierce and proud. The hunter laughed despite the blood. There it is. The sunlight fights back. Adrian moved like lightning. The next second, the hunters were gone. Escape. Retreated. Silence crashed over the penthouse. Broken glass glittered everywhere. Elena's chest heaved. Adrian stood across the room, breathing hard. Not injured. Not shaken. But changed. He looked at her like she had done something impossible. You attacked a hunter, he said quietly. Elena swallowed. He tried to grab me. A slow, disbelieving smile touched Adrian's lips. You really don't fear monsters. Her voice trembled. I do. She met his eyes. I just refuse to be prey. Something in Adrian's expression softened completely. For the first time since she met him, he looked proud. He stepped closer. Slowly. Carefully. You shouldn't exist, he whispered. Elena's heart pounded. What does that mean? Adrian lifted his hand toward her face, then stopped inches away. Like always. Like he was afraid of touching her. You smell like sunlight because your blood carries something ancient. Her breath caught. What? Adrian's voice lowered. The last line of the Dayborn. Elena blinked. I don't understand. He swallowed slowly. Your ancestors hunted monsters before hunters existed. The room spun slightly. You're saying I come from vampire hunters? Adrian shook his head. No. His eyes softened. Something older. Elena's voice was barely a whisper. What does that make me? Adrian's gaze dropped to her lips, then back to her eyes. It makes you the one thing vampires are not supposed to fall in love with. Her heart stopped. And you? She whispered. Adrian's voice was rough. I already did. Silence filled the room. City lights flickered outside like distant stars. Elena's pulse thundered. This is insane, she breathed. Yes. He didn't deny it. She stared at him. You're a vampire king. Yes. I'm, whatever this is. Yes. There's a supernatural war starting outside your penthouse. Yes. Her voice softened. And you think we're supposed to survive this? Adrian stepped closer. His voice dropped into a vow. We're supposed to win it. Her heart skipped. And if we don't? Adrian's gaze burned with ancient promise. Then the world burns with us. Elena's breath caught. Because for the first time, she believed him. The Queen of Sunlight. The city didn't sleep that night. Sirens wailed far below the penthouse windows, helicopters cut slow circles through the sky, and somewhere in the distance a storm gathered over Manhattan like the world itself sensed the shift. Elena sat on the edge of the couch, staring at her hands. The mark on her wrist had darkened. The necklace on her collarbone pulsed with warmth. Her entire life had changed in less than 24 hours. Across the room, Adrian stood by the window like a statue carved from shadow. He hadn't moved in 10 minutes. He hadn't spoken in 5. Elena finally broke the silence. You said we're going to win this war. He didn't turn. Yes. You sound very sure for someone who just got attacked in his own home. His voice was quiet. I am sure because they made a mistake. Elena frowned. What mistake? Adrian turned slowly. They marked you before they understood what you are. Her chest tightened. You keep saying that. Stop talking in riddles and tell me the truth. Adrian walked toward her, slow and careful like every step mattered. You're not just descended from the Dayborn. He knelt in front of her. The most feared man in New York kneeling. Elena's breath caught. You are the last living heir. The room tilted. Heir to what? Adrian's voice softened. To the line that ended the first vampire war. Elena's mind struggled to process it. That's mythology. Adrian shook his head. It's history. She laughed weakly. I cleaned hotel rooms last year. You survived a childhood that should have broken you, he corrected. You defended yourself against hunters without training. You walked into a room full of predators and never lowered your eyes. His gaze warmed. You have always been what you are. You just didn't know the name for it. Elena's voice trembled. And what name is that? Adrian hesitated. As if the word itself mattered. Queen. Her breath left her lungs. No. Yes. I'm not a queen of anything. You are the only being whose blood can end the war between hunters and vampires. Her stomach twisted. And they marked me because of that. Yes. Elena stood abruptly, pacing. This is insane. I wanted a normal life. A normal job. A normal future. Adrian's voice was soft. You were never meant to be normal. She turned on him. I didn't ask for this. I know. His quiet understanding broke something in her chest. I didn't ask to want you either. Her breath hitched. Silence wrapped around them again, thick and fragile. Then the elevator dinged. Everyone froze. Adrian's guards moved instantly. The doors opened slowly. This time, dozens of footsteps echoed behind them. The Monroe Syndicate had arrived. Not 3 hunters. Not 5. An army. The tall hunter from before stepped forward, smiling. You really thought we'd stop after one visit? Adrian stepped in front of Elena. You really thought I wouldn't be ready? The hunter's gaze slid to Elena. She belongs to the order now. Adrian's voice became ice. She belongs to herself. Elena stepped forward before fear could stop her. I am not property. The hunter smiled coldly. Your destiny. Adrian's hand shot out, stopping her from stepping further. Elena. No, she said quietly. Her voice didn't shake this time. I'm done hiding behind you. The hunters exchanged amused looks. Brave, one murmured. Stupid, another added. Elena lifted her chin. All my life people have treated me like I was small, weak, disposable. Her voice grew stronger. I'm not. The necklace glowed softly against her skin. The room seemed to brighten. The hunter's smiles faded. Adrian's eyes widened slightly. Elena. She didn't look at him. She looked at the hunters. You marked me like I was prey. Her wrist burned. The symbol flared red. But I'm not prey. The air shifted. Warmth filled the penthouse like sunrise breaking through glass. The hunters stepped back instinctively. "What is she doing?" one whispered. Adrian didn't answer. He watched her like a man witnessing prophecy. Elena's voice became calm. Clear. Powerful. "You wanted a war." The light intensified. "You just found your reason to lose it." The mark on her wrist shattered like glass. Light burst outward. The hunters cried out, shielding their eyes. The symbol burned away completely. Gone. Broken. Adrian stared in stunned silence. "You broke the mark," he whispered. The lead hunter staggered back, fear replacing arrogance. "That's impossible." Elena stepped forward. "I decide who owns my future." The necklace glowed brighter, resonating with the light around her. The hunters began retreating. The confidence was gone. The power dynamic had flipped in seconds. The leader glared at Adrian. "This isn't over." Adrian's smile was slow and terrifying. "It is for you." The hunters fled. The elevator doors slammed shut. Silence crashed down. The war ended before it truly began. Elena swayed slightly. The light faded. Adrian reached her in an instant, catching her before she fell. "You did it," he whispered. Her voice was weak. "I feel warm."
This view
He
never
smiled
gets old.
softly. "That's your power waking up."
I love
Elena
this.
looked up at him. "Did we win?" Adrian brushed a strand of hair from her face. "Yes." Her eyes softened. "Good." Then she laughed weakly. "I can't believe this is my life now." Adrian's gaze held hers. "You saved mine." She shook her head. "You protected me first." His voice lowered. "I would protect you forever." Her heart fluttered. "That sounds dangerously like a promise." "It is." Silence filled the room again. Different this time. Peaceful. He cupped her face gently, finally closing the distance he had held for months. "You are the strongest woman I have ever met." Her lips curved slightly. "You're the most dramatic man I've ever met." His eyes warmed. "And yet here we are." Her voice softened. "Here we are." The city lights sparkled behind them like 1,000 new beginnings. For the first time, the future didn't feel terrifying. It felt shared. And as the sun began to rise over New York, light spilled into the penthouse, golden and warm. Elena watched it quietly. "I guess sunlight isn't so scary after all." Adrian smiled softly. "Not when it's yours." He pressed a gentle kiss to her forehead. A promise. A beginning. A forever. And for the first time in centuries, the Vampire King welcomed the sunrise.